Hello, thank you for coming to this ninth session for 2026. It is a live recorded session, and I am usually very hesitant in these, but at the same time, very excited about what information is going to come through. I have no idea. So I give myself over fully to the I am that I am, all that is. Thank you for coming. And this session will be a bit more detailed, but still working on the awareness of, the conscious building of the foundation that you need to be able to absorb and assimilate with clarifying energies the information to come, not just now in this session, but all of your experiences to come, and all of that clarity that will be needed for that higher understanding of those experiences and the observance of those experiences of others. So again, your foundation is solidity in your oneness, your conscious awareness of your oneness. And that oneness is your highest beingness. Again, I say, even in your human experience, as they are not separate in that highest sense, they are actually in that oneness of flowing. But all of these things to come, as I had said previously, with the acceleration of, there has been a new crystallization or a stronger connection with that rainbow bridge energy that is allowing the ascension of those that are ready and allowing the ones that have evolved to be on the precipice to be able to easily make that transition. So there is solidity in that, as the crystallization allows more frequency to be connected and to be held. As I have said in previous sessions, this one is one of the anchors. This one, Uzuri, is one of the anchors for that energy, for that, as humans refer to, rainbow bridge. And again, rainbow reference is a frequency of energy, as is your chakras. So in many ways, it is the chakra connection to the 5D earth. And that reality, that dimensional reality. So 3D is still here in her full chakra awareness as well. So in your awareness, all of these energies are connected. All of these varied colors, for each color specifically has its own frequencies. And the blending of them, the creative blending of them through emotions and thoughts and actions, and that beingness even of health. All of these things affect, let you may say, the power of your creation, of your foundation. For in that foundation itself, of course, is that power of unconditional love. And that will be the main building block, shall we say, of energy for that foundation for you to continue to evolve and ascend. Now, all humans are building a foundation of higher energy, of more light, of more clarity. And again, each of those are building their foundation upon the frequency where they are vibrating. And that changes swiftly, quickly, when a decision is made for a more positive choice of any response to any experience that is outed to the foundation. So these building blocks are the unconditional love actions that we choose in response to. And an action can be a thought of, a consideration of, the giving of one's conscious attention to in that choice. That is what gives the power to the building of that foundation of each human. every level that they choose to be. And again, I am that foundation. And that foundation is themselves. As it evolves, as they increase their light, and the beauty, I always add, that I see them as. And soon, many will begin to have very noticeable changes in their lives from this acceleration of this energy. And in the previous session, I reminded you that the energy that is coming in from the other planets, those other sentient beings that are planets, very powerful. And in their consciousness, they are sending that energy to you, to this planet, to help her in her ascension and all that is on her and within her. So everything is being given that is needed for these changes to come. Now, there are many things coming over the internet media that are varied, vastly varied in subject matter. And again, as what you refer to as surf the internet, and you land upon those, or you type in specific interests, those then will become the experiences that you respond to that create each building block of your foundation. So choose those experiences wisely. So, example, subject matter that is a negative thing that is happening, even though it is a point of reference for what is going on in this reality. Be aware that when you connect to the anger of, or the suffering of, let's say, issues of war or social issues, in that connection of, be consciously aware of how you enter into that choice and that connection. For your conscious choice of it will have you experience within it and then respond to it. So again, I gently remind you, you can have a positive response to a negative seeming separation in your highest understanding of that situation. So when you choose that, consciously go into that experience with that clarity and conscious awareness of, excuse me, the positive that is within that is changing. For the positive is the exposure of simply, of the being of that information and the fact that it exists. So the connection of is to change that. And you can only change that if you go into it with the clarity of the power that you have to change in that positive response to, with your higher understanding of. So I am not saying stay away from those. I am actually saying if you can enter that connection consciously from a positive, clarified understanding of that highest light that is within that experience for you and others as it changes and as you transform, and you change and transform that very energy. So in that awareness, you have begun to use consciously the power that you have to change that which is around you. So go in that wisdom. Choose your actions in that understanding of. For again, I say, it is all beautiful. And when you know that beauty before you enter in, you will bring that beauty into that experience and that connection. So relax and flow freely in your searching where to apply that understanding as you seek out those experiences for your evolving. And it is simply living as a human. For these things will come. Interest will come, curiosities. But try to keep in that forefront in your decision making, in your conscious decision making, why you are choosing to go into that connection and experience the power that you are. For again, I have told you and am in the telling of your true self to you, so that you might understand your highest self and be your highest human. For they are one. This one, Uzuri, does ask daily to be helped to be her highest human in her experiences. That flowing of the I am that flows through her will have that clearest path and the highest power in that exchange and that healing and that oneness that she will experience in her choices as she follows her human path. And your human path in that conscious awareness is your highest human path. And do take a moment in those to embrace the joy or the fascination of, for some of the simplicity that may come to you. As this one, Uzuri, recently rescued, as she calls it, a caterpillar that will turn into a beautiful black swallowtail butterfly. So she feeds it daily what it needs, and she watches the change as she will watch the chrysalis, and she will wait patiently for the emerging of that transformation. And even in her life, she relishes that transformation with that highest clarity of understanding, how it applies to her experiences and the experiences to all of you that are coming to these sessions, that are allowing this connection for yourself, consciously choosing. So let these things be. Now, in this foundation that you are building, it is from this foundation that you are also building and creating the foundation of these changes. For everything is connected in that all that is, always. So your personal foundation is part of the building of that foundation, of the change of what you choose to add your energy to the transformation of, for the full ascension of this planet and these individuals, and of course yourself and your loved ones. For in you applying this awareness, you influence everyone around you, especially those that you are connected with in your personal love, families, friends, new acquaintances that cross your path that are of the like energies, and there will be more of those experiences, new friends to come. As each of your paths cross one another and become a collective in that level of awareness that you have come into. And there is more and more power toward that change, more and more power toward each of yours transformation that comes from one another's positive beingness themselves in that oneness. Now these changes that are coming in 2026, you are asking for more details. And I have covered general subject matters with some details in some of those subjects. But I tell you, one of the ones I have not spent much time on is the finances. Your perspective and use of that which you call money. So that trading energy, everything is a frequency. So that is a frequency that is changing. Allow that change. Be a part of that flowing. For there will be a fairness there, an equality there, and a fullness of abundance there in that newly transformed system of providing your needs without it being a controlled, power-controlled monetary manipulation of that you need and that you are and that it is. So there is a shaking of many foundations that have not been touched for millennia, but have been in control and in power. And your energy is now changing that foundation that they have built, but they have built it, shall we say, on sand. And now you will come in with your positive energies of change and the insistence of that you demand it of others that are helping to make those changes. You will demand that change, and that foundation will crumble. It will crumble into a stronger, more beautiful foundation of light. And those who had participated in that manipulation are quickly losing power. And they are panicking. They are reacting to that. So there will be things that happen that seem to be in that moment to be a re-strengthening of that negative, but it is not. It's a desperate reach on their part to make themselves noticed and to instill that usual fear and such that has been used to manipulate and control. But you are above that now. You are beyond that. In your clarity of understanding and the power that you know you have, and the seeing, the awareness of seeing these changes happen, you will not go back. We will not, as a whole, I say we, in our oneness, will not allow anything going backwards. As I said, there will be those small movements that seem to be a power move, but there's no power behind them. That's why they're so desperate. Because you have asserted the power that you have as a sovereign child of mine, as a human experience in this creation of this 3D reality. And of course, all of that reverberates in the 4D reality and always toward that 5D. In actuality, the reverberation of the frequency that is created with this change and this conscious intent of light, that this collective awareness of humans is vibrating out, rippling out into the all that is. And those observing from other dimensions, other realities, they are so overjoyed. And I might say many there are surprised at how quickly and how powerful you have come into this light and this joy and this awareness, and began and now have established these changes, and that you continue to get stronger in your demands and stronger in all that is that you are doing here. And these things give you confirmation of what you have come here to do, you are succeeding in. As a matter of fact, you are going beyond what you thought you would do as you do more and more. Because the more you become that being of light, the more power you realize you have, and the more determined you become to create these changes as quickly as possible. And again, I say this energy of acceleration has been gifted you, and is gifted to this reality in this dimensional beingness. For there are certain law of physics within each dimensional reality, and this one has those laws of physics. But the light is changing even those laws of physics. For the light, again I say, is myself. And myself is the essence of unconditional love, and is the most powerful energy in all existence. And you are using that, as you are part of that in our oneness. Be in that joy. Be in that anticipation of each day. And go into that night with the intention even of the body healing and the body reverse aging from within, I remind you first. And all of these things are coming about, and they will come faster, more accelerated with your conscious intent, without ego. There must always be that highest intention with it. Not with the intention to escalate quickly these things in your excitement and your anticipation of, and again, with your impatience. So be aware of the energy that you put into those intentions that are conscious choices as well. So even when you go to sleep, make sure you're in that spiritual balance of that intention that you are creating. For if it is from a selfish or an ego, or just for the purpose of wanting to hurry up and see yourself in the mirror in your prime, those things are part of the foundation, but they should not be that which is part of the intention of. For that will take away from the strength of the light that you are trying consciously to put into it. So even in that, be in that awareness. For all of this is you coming into awareness of yourself. For there is much to come. There is much to come that will be so very confusing. And for those that are just coming into that next level of light, maybe even the fourth dimensional, there will be confusion with you still. All of those will have more confusion who have less light. And in that confusion, of course, can come that fear, that moment of fear. And a moment of fear can come, but in your awareness of, you can transform that immediately with application of the light that you are consciously. So even when those come, don't judge yourself, for you are still human, and you are still in this law of physics, and you are still surrounded by all this energy that is seeming chaos. And there is always chaos before calm. There is always chaos before change. So embrace the chaos as part of that, and part of it being a sign for you to know that it is working. What you are doing is working. You will not see it in everything, in every detail, but be in that knowing when you see that. Hold that knowing. Go into that knowing when you need that reassurance, before it is in your heart chakra. And it is always there. It is the I am that you are, that I am that we are. And I am always there to welcome you and to reiterate that knowing that you have in each experience, especially the ones you're just having. Because sometimes we go back into that questioning, and being small, as humans have been manipulated, shall we say, to be small. You are not small. You are as large as infinity in our oneness. For now, you are here as a human. But I remind you, your highest self is flowing through you. There is no disconnect to that ever. And that highest self that you are is always guiding you, always. So allow that flowing. And again, do not put too much effort in trying to force something. Even the repetitive asking for something tells you that you think you're not going to get it because you feel like you don't see it. You got to keep asking. In our connection, ask with that highest light that you are for that manifestation of, and the guidance of that humility. For in your power, there must be humility to allow you and guide you to use that power. For this is the whole purpose of the ascension. For 5D will not be power manipulated. There'll be no egos manipulating others, but rather a mutual respect between all, and a fullness of the power that each have. And there is no fear in that. There is just more joy, more creativity, and more beingness. And some of you ask for more details of the 5D experience that you can, yes, look forward to, but do not be distracted by what is to come. Now, some of you, in some of your quiet times of resting, shall we say, or meditation, can go into that 5D reality which you will be in, and create and prepare a place for yourself. For you are also already there in the I am and your highest self. For in that knowing that your highest self has of those that are the millions that are going to 5D, there is that part of you that is already there and is in preparation of your coming. This one, Uzuri, has spent much time in her creative energies of manifesting and creating her reality that she will be going to. She can close her eyes and see some of these things she has created. And just last night, again, I'm adding this detail as a human example, shall we say. In her reality she has created, there will be a white horse named Spirit. And that one will be a soul connection for her. And there are times that she goes there and she nuzzles him. She strokes that soft velvet nose of his. He lets her hug her neck. And Spirit is there being part of that creation, but also not there in full manifestation of. So these are spiritual experiences that you can have that will be, shall we say, solidified to some degree, as light is, in 5D for you. So create those joys. Nothing will go to 5D that is part of 3D frequency. or 4D frequency. So many want to take things they are fond of here, or they feel like are very positive here, but understand much that you have here that have even been instruments in your growing, such as crystals or stones, are all the things that you have been influenced by, consciously connecting with, and using that frequency of energy to grow and expand and evolve. Those things quite often are still left in 3D. For 5D will have a whole another level of vibrational frequency in everything that it is. Every plant, every stone, every animal, new species of animals, all that is. So some of you are wanting to take things with you. You will not be packing a bag to take. But those things that are with you now, that are 5-dimensional, will be there with you. For those things are vibrating at the 5D frequency. And all things that are vibrating at 5D frequency consistently, and that's important, consistently staying in that vibration, will be part of that you have in 5D. For 5D frequency reality is, again, everything that is vibrating in a 5-dimensional frequency. It is a simple thing, as is the same thing for 3D and 4D. So be aware of this. So, example, those homes, those houses that you have in 3D, they are not all made of, and most of them have very little of, natural energies within them. And I might add even the geometry of them. For most of reality is made of flowing and curves, spirals and such. There is geometry that has corners, shall we say, but not in the sense where a house is built as a square or a rectangle. There are a few houses that are round, but there have been some of those who have created rounded houses. And I think that's a beautiful idea. But the house you're in, the square, rectangle, whatever house you're in that has brought you so much joy and given you comfort and security and protection, and is that place where you can be all you want to be on a personal level, it is still blessed. It is simply not vibrating at that 5-dimensional frequency in its fullness. Now, I will also reiterate, as many of these things I have talked about again as I have said in previous sessions, so again I gently remind you, and I will probably do that from time to time for those who come and that are new at these sessions, that these energies that create these positive realities that you are, those frequencies in the physical, you can, through your positive heart chakra, consciously project that light that you know you are now and the power that you have and that oneness. Use your conscious free will to use this energy and direct it. Ask the I am that you are, that higher self that you are, to direct that energy to enfold you in protection of light, to enfold your home in protection of light, and your yards in protection of light. For the light is so powerful, it is not a small circle of, but in your conscious awareness of applying it, and you're asking, it is then given. And this one lives close to a nature park, and she has actually extended hers out into the nature park and all of the wildlife that brings her so much joy, that they would be protected, that all of this light will add the protection layers. However, I must add this, with all of that truth and that reality, there is still the existence in 3D. And there are still those things that happen that are primal and primitive, even within the animals and, of course, humans. Those things do still happen, but less. More are protected from that. And they are themselves evolving. Much of the wildlife is evolving with you. For I would have many of them be in 5D with you, because their energy is so pure already. But they have agreed to be in 3D for you, to help you rest to help you heal, to help you come back into your oneness by being that nature that is around you. So use her. She is a strength to use. And be sure and thank her, for she is a conscious energy, as are all living things, a conscious energy that are sentient. So I thank you for coming to this session. And there has been more details given on how to use the energy that you are becoming aware of that you are, and that you have the power to direct. But there has been given to you some instructions on the awareness of within it, how it is applied and how it works in response to that free will choice that you have directed it. So again, I remind you, these things that are physical changes do not happen overnight. But what I have said is, and what I have said will be, has already begun. So all of your bodies of your higher frequency self have already begun the reverse aging, and that are constantly healing. Every night as the body rests, the body is healing, regenerating cells and tissues, cartilage and bone, and all these things that connect themselves to be this human body in that new crystalline base that it is. For no more are you a full carbon base. That crystalline energy is allowing this healing, is allowing more of this energy to change and transform the body's physicalities. For again, I remind you, this will be the body that you take with you. So take care of her. Direct that energy to her. And all of this is to come for your experience, for my love of you. I want you to be reminded to love yourself unconditionally. Be patient with yourself. Be understanding. Be all the facets of unconditional love for yourself. And that love of self. For that love of self is not ego. It is part of your self-confidence, self-discovery of who you truly are as my child. So go and be that. Go be that loving self. For others will receive that energy as it emanates from you. For again, I remind you, no energy can be contained. It is always going out of you in a ripple effect into all that is around you. And all of those that are around you are inspired, and they are helped to raise their light levels by you simply being your highest self. So be your highest self, and each day you become more and more your highest self. Know that joy. Allow that joy. Allow that peace. Now go and enjoy your life as a human, for you are always in that guidance of, I am always in your heart chakra, always connected with you. So let us go and be our highest self together in that oneness that we are. And I give myself over now back into Uzuri's conscious beingness, that she may, as she likes to say, go back and check these to make sure she's not looking too crazy. She's still very self-conscious. But I say to you, I thank you for your patience with her. And I thank you for coming back to these sessions. It brings her great joy to know that the I am that I am is flowing through her. And I also want you to know that she goes back and listens to these as she is also learning the same information that is coming through. She herself is applying in our oneness. So thank you. I love you deeply, unconditionally, as I give myself back over to her. Thank you.